Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sledgehammers, where we seriously discuss, debate, and analyze recent events, mostly in the world of cricket and maybe some other things. I'm Vinny, and with me today is Uday, who I've played cricket with and against over the years in North Texas. Today, we will discuss things beyond the boundary, especially franchise owners, franchise teams, and fans. So, Uday, let's start with owners. Back in the day, in the footsteps of the IPL about 13 years ago, franchise cricket started in North Texas, where the league here sold franchises to various owners, and all the players from the local leagues were placed in a draft. Uday, you were one of the first cricket franchise owners in the United States when you bought a franchise. Don't remember for how much. And you named it Texas Warriors. How was that experience? Tell us a little bit about what were the fun things about owning a cricket team, and what were some of those challenges?
Wonderful. Yeah. As it was in the footsteps of IPL, I think there was a lot of buzz around it. It was obviously new. It was new to the city of Dallas, and the entire thought of Dallas Premier League, it had a good feel around it. I think we started off with eight teams within here. I think from a fun aspect of it, I think I mean, when you buy a franchise, obviously the underlying thought is to go and win the championship. I think that's common to every team that's out there. But outside of that, it also allows you to, as a team owner, there's some of your personality and thought that goes into building a team, right? As an example, at the end, I think some portion of the team takes the personality of somebody owning the franchise. Right? Are you a money ball owner? That's very, very tactical. I mean, are you looking at a lot of data? Are you somebody that's more going to pick from your gut feel? Okay. And how do you build your teams? Are those hard driven, hey, we need to win kind of teams that are very passionate? Are they more laid back? So there is some amount of your personality that seeps into the teams that you build, and that is probably the fun aspect of building a team, at least in leagues that are nascent and that are coming up. I think I see that to be a big part from anybody that's trying to buy a team and build a team. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, also, I would say one of the big aspects of leagues like this are the after parties, because you have a lot of teams hanging out together after the game. The analysis that happens afterwards, it's a um, a lot of fun in terms of those discussions, and B, I think that whole team camaraderie that comes in, I think those are the fun aspects in terms of a franchise. Okay. What's very unique in obviously these leagues are not these are semi-professional, or these are probably even a tier below that. Given that there are some unique characteristics to these teams and franchises, right? Uh, it's tough to probably induce rivalries in the first year, but luckily in Dallas that happened organically, and obviously that created some amount of fun factor. Okay. The not so fun things probably are the day-to-day drama. You'll always have something go not the way that you're probably planning it. Uh, Flights get canceled, players don't turn up on time, so on and so forth. Again, a factor of it not being a completely professional league, right? But there's always drama, and I'm sure that multiplies by 10 in bigger and larger leagues. So I would say the day-to-day drama is the aspect that's not really enjoyable.
It, totally. I mean, I totally resonate with all the fun aspects you talked about, because being part of that tournament where we got to play against people that would normally play in our club, and then play with people who we were arch rivals with in years of club cricket. That was a lot of fun. And then obviously the fact that you could bring in international players or foreign players, and giving several of us the opportunity to play alongside people like big names like Shoaib Akhtar, Fawad Alam, Shabir Khan, Kamran Akmal. You just several of these international stars. Funny, most of those international stars were from Pakistan. I guess they didn't have any other Premier League back then to play with. Um, but totally, I see those challenges as well. So that seemed like that was a lot of fun. Um, you know, talking about these franchises, you had orange as your team color. Uh, the same as Sunrisers Hyderabad, and you're from Hyderabad. Did you copy that or did they copy you?
Um, I would claim that they copied me, but yeah, I'm not trying to associate myself with Sunrisers Hyderabad for various reasons. Orange, wonderful color. Our team name was also Bombay Warriors, to be precise. That said, yes, I'm from Hyderabad. You see the wall at the back; it's orange. So orange has been a favorite color of mine, and that's the reason for my choice. I'm trying to stay away from the Sunrisers Association in terms of picking orange because of that.
Well, then talking about Sunrisers, how the hell did they come up with that name? I mean, it makes sense for like just with names in general for these franchises. Like you had Bombay Warriors, which had a good ring to it. Warriors. It's a little. There's some intimidation factor there with that
Yeah,
name.
yeah.
But Sunrisers Hyderabad. I mean, some of these franchises, right? And why Sunrisers in Hyderabad, which is in the middle of the country? I understand that the owners are Sun TV or whatever, but still, like it's some of these names make no sense. But I totally
Absolutely.
understand where Mumbai Indians got its name. Like I have a general idea. Probably went something like this. Ambani has had this meeting. He had just bought this franchise. He has these top dogs from marketing and branding in his conference room, and he tells them, "Hey guys, I want the name to be something Indian." And he walks out of the room, and these top dogs are like, let's not piss this guy off. So Indian it is. And they just take it literally, and that's what they went with. And I guess by the time he got to know about it, it was too late. It was Mumbai Indians. Such a lame name. And now they go about, even the New York franchise that they bought, they don't call it New York
New
something.
York Indians.
It's
Yeah.
Mumbai Indians New York or New York
Wow.
Mumbai Indians. It's become like a proper noun now.
While that's not very original, I think it's still better than some of the team names. There are a lot of kings, there are a lot of supers in at least in the IPL and across the world. I find the word super being used again and again and again, probably making your team into a super team by calling it super, I guess. So
Yeah, there's this fascination with super, right? We have two in the IPL, we have two supers, and they both are doing pretty well. I just wonder if, you know, Punjab, you have Chennai Super Kings and Punjab just Kings. If they had just called themselves Super Kings, would they have had a better time of it over the last 17 years in the IPL just by adding that super? That's something I wonder. Um, and talking about Punjab, let's switch over to fans. Um, a lot of times when we talk on this uh, podcast, um, people who watch tell me that you don't show much empathy. And so really wanted to show that other side of us, and showing some empathy towards the fans from Punjab and teams like Punjab, where they go through the entire season, but they never can enjoy the postseason, right? The playoffs, because they're never there. So what do these fans do? I mean, is their IPL over? Do they just switch off the TVs and just go about their business? So what I would like to talk to you about is, what do these teams do? What kind of backup team can they support, and how do they go about picking this backup team? So if you were Punjab, how would you choose if that was your team? Because you need to have a plan for later in the tournament when your team's already out.
Yeah, and you need to be very careful about it on how you pick a team because you don't want the second team you pick to be out of the tournament too or do bad, right? So I'm sure you have to put in a lot of thought before because you typically are born into your first team or it's natural, right? I mean, we here in Dallas support the Cowboys. Okay, you're from India, obviously, you want to support the Indian cricket team or so on and so forth. The first team is usually more organically you fell in love with the team, right? There's no thought. It's more your heart and following the heart. I think with the second team, there's a lot of thought that you need to put in. Like I said, you don't want to end up not having your second team in the tournament. Um, I think it's got to do with the type of person you are. Pakistan, and they don't make it to the playoffs, or they make it to the playoffs, or don't go to the finals, or so on and so forth. Probably choosing India would be great because you're guaranteed to have your team in the finals more often than not.
You really think so? You think for the regular Pakistani cricket fan, India would be their second team of choice? I find that hard to believe.
I
Uh,
mean, a logical choice because, like I said, your first team you go with your heart. I mean, you're bound by it, right? But I think your second team you can make wise choices. You
all right,
can
all right. Let's
you
let's
can
try to
make
be
it. Yeah,
specific here. Like, let's
yeah,
take a real use case because Pakistan
yeah,
often they reach the playoffs. I mean, yes, the
yeah,
last World Cup was pretty bad for them.
yeah.
The previous World Cup also. The previous one also. Well, okay, maybe
Yeah.
Pakistan is the right example, but let's take a very obvious example, like Bangladesh, for instance, right? I have so much empathy for those fans from Bangladesh. Like every tournament they come in painting their face with that. I come in with their flags, painting their face as tigers, and they're so passionate, and they never make it to the next round. They're always losing. What should those fans do? Like, should they support another team that has similar colors? Like, should they support another team, but that, a team with other colors should also make it? Like, what would you do if you were a Bangladeshi fan?
Like I said, I think at that point you find smaller joys. I would support a team that my probably goes against what my best friend supports, so that I can rib. Okay, that's one strategy. The other would be, like I said, pick the strongest team so that you can say, "Hey, my team won," which is another good strategy. The third one probably is go against the grain. Okay, I don't have a right answer here. I mean, it's tough, right? I mean, year after year, if your team doesn't make it, it's very tough to find a second team. Like in Bangladesh case, whom are they going to support? Like Australia? uh, I mean, they can't support Sri Lanka with all the problems that
Yeah,
they've
so
had.
look, if they support Sri
Yeah,
Lanka, and those people are, showing the watch or, after all those incidents, if they support India, there's all those moments where they thought that they won, and then they eventually lost the game, and they had these early celebrations that will come back to
yeah,
haunt them, right? And then you have if they go to Afghanistan, those guys will do some Nagin dance because of those other incidents. So the
yeah.
challenge for Bangladesh is they've with a lot of teams they've had um, these incidents, which due to those they cannot support the other team.
That's true.
Right? So it
Yeah,
narrows down the set for a
yeah.
Bangladeshi fan, if you go to
I
think
know.
about it. Of course, they can support South
Netherlands
Africa,
probably.
but then South Africa will lose in the first round of the playoffs anyway. So
Yeah,
there's no point supporting them. So
yeah.
you may be right over there going with Australia, because as far as I can remember, I don't think there's been any major incidents with the Bangladesh team and Australia.
I can't recall. Yeah, I think typically with Australia they get beaten by a fair margin, so I can't recall an incident. I think with Sri Lanka and Afghanistan they tend to bring the games a little closer, and then obviously that creates a little bit of perceived rivalry. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah, probably, but yeah, I think Australia beat them by a fair margin.
Yeah,
That said, I
yeah,
might be wrong because I think India beats them by a fair margin too, but there is some sort of a rivalry or a perceived rivalry.
true, true. So we've solved this through our uh, having this deep. We've found this deep empathy towards fans from countries like Bangladesh and Punjab Lions and or Punjab Kings, and we've come up with a solution for them. Support teams like Australia when you come painted in green or whatever your colors are. Have the other team's flag as well. So just in case, you, as usual, when you lose, you can wave the other flag and pretend to be the other team supporters. So these are real world solutions to real world problems. So
So you
I'm glad
basically buy two jerseys,
yeah, buy two jerseys.
yeah.
Um, so that's great. Um, we're heading to the end. But I just heard there was there's a restaurant that Virat Kohli has opened up in Bangalore. I think it's called One Eight Commune or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And apparently they have really good dosas, like the fusion dosas and all kinds of South Indian cuisine, which is really good. But they're serving with their dosas all their sambars in glasses.
What?
Yeah. It's because Virat has not won a cup yet. So that was the sledge of the week, and with that, we'll call it a day. Thank you, Uday, for joining me today and in the middle of the week.
Hey,
Catch you
thank
next
you.
time.